Metasploit framework. Well, in short, I'm going to tell you that what is Metasploit. Metasploit is a database of huge and many and several of hacking exploits. It contains a lot of tools and a lot of exploits which is availed by the hacker in order to hack something, whether that is hacking a remote computer or hacking a website or web application or hacking a database. You can use Metasploit framework to any extent in order to achieve your goal. Metasploit framework is an open source penetration tool used for developing and executing exploit code against a remote target machine. Metasploit framework has the world's largest database of public tested exploits. Public tested exploits means that these have been actually tested out on a regular basis, and the result shows that out of 50 or 70 exploits works completely in a great manner. Metasploit can be used to test the vulnerability of computer system in order to protect them, and on the other hand it can also be used to break into remote system. So if you are using your own computer from your home, you can easily break into your neighbor's computer if that is in your network. Or even you can also hack your neighbor or a person who is far away from you. You can also hack them with the help of Metasploit framework and payloads. It's a powerful tool used for penetration testing. Hacking steps via Metasploit framework. Well, these are some steps I'm going to show you that how we can use Metasploit framework in order to hack something. Select the right exploit and then set the target. In order to perform hacking with Metasploit, you're going to have to actually select an exploit. Well, you really don't need to create your own exploit, but you have to select an exploit among the thousands of exploits. And then you have to set your target, that is a machine computer, and in order to set the target you're going to have to acquire the IP address of that machine computer. Verify the exploit options to determine whether the target system is vulnerable to the exploit or not. So in order to perform that step, there are certain options and certain commands you're going to have to use that is readily given to you by Metasploit. So you can use those commands to verify that whether the target system is exploitable or not. Select a payload. I will discuss at the end what is a payload. A payload is a kind of content you can deliver to a remote computer in order to control the remote computer or hack the computer. Execute the exploit. The last step would be to execute the exploit after selecting a payload, whether that payload would be something like computer hacking or some different payloads like Windows 7 hacking or something like that. And after that you have to just type exploit and the Metasploit framework will begin its work. What is vulnerability? A weakness which allows an attacker to break into or compromise a system security is called vulnerability. Well, how you can find vulnerability and what is the main point of vulnerability? Well, if you want to hack a computer, first you have to find a vulnerability in that computer. If that computer has vulnerability, then definitely that computer is hackable and exploitable. But if that computer don't contain any kind of vulnerability, then it will be very difficult or almost impossible to hack into that computer or system. So vulnerability will actually give a clue to the hacker or cracker that whether that system is exploitable or not. Not only a system, but that could be a web application or something else that would tell you that whether that is actually exploitable or not. So vulnerability is a very important thing in hacking concepts and terminologies. What is exploit? Well, exploit is a code which allows an attacker to take advantage of a vulnerability system. If we found out a vulnerability in a computer system, then we're going to exploit that vulnerability. And exploit is a kind of code we're going to be using to actually hack into and make a whale of that vulnerability. So that is why exploit is a kind of programming code or a command which is used to actually avail that vulnerability inside a system or web application or any other web applications. Vulnerability is a kind of loophole or a leakage in the computer security or system security, and exploit is a kind of worm or a bacteria which will enter into that leakage whenever that is open. What is payload? Well, payload is an actual code which runs on the system after exploitation. This is very important thing. For example, if you want to hack your remote computer and that person is living in America and you are living in Asian countries or in other countries that is far away from that person who you want to hack, how you could use Metasploit framework to hack that person? Well, that is extremely easy. Just you have to create a payload with the help of Metasploit framework, and then after that you have to deliver that payload or send that payload by somehow to that person you want to hack on. And whenever that person receives that payload, he or she will be automatically hacked. So this is how we could actually hack a person, or the hackers hack the person, people, desired people, whenever they are far away from them. But if a person is inside your network and that is near to you, that is whether your neighbor or 2 to 3 homes after your neighbors, then you can easily exploit them without a payload, or you can also use the payload for them too. So in this way you could easily hack any person with the help of Metasploit framework. But before that, the vulnerability is very important. You have to find the vulnerability in that system. If that system is not vulnerable, then it is not possible, or if it is possible, then it will actually give you a very tough time. You're gonna have to use all the hacking techniques in order to hack that non-vulnerable system.